Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. On today's episode, we are going to be working from David Leibovitz's Drinking French book, and we're going to make a snack out of the book today. We're going to be making baked Camembert with walnuts, figs, and whiskey Gastrique. Now, it's not fig season here, but that's exactly what we need because we need dried figs for this recipe. I found just like a bag of dried figs that I ordered, and we are going to trim off the very top and then quarter them. And I'm going to just put them back in this bowl because we are going to basically rehydrate these with some boiling water. And we have to do this first because these have to sit for at least 10 minutes. And everything else is kind of takes less time than that, and everything. It's just the best time to do this because it can sit for longer if we need to. We're trying to replump them, rehydrate them. I doubt that these are the same kind of figs that he uses because they don't really look the same, but I am sure that they will be fine. I didn't go for anything super fancy here, and I'm sure in France he can find lots of different kinds of dried figs, but I was lucky that I could find any here. I'm just going to kind of separate them a little bit so they'll hydrate better, and I'm going to get boiling water. I just boiled it in the microwave because I don't have an electric kettle, which is the perfect way. If you make a lot of tea, an electric kettle is a good investment. You don't like hot tea, so I just made sure that this was still boiling, and as you can see it is. And we're going to pour this over our figs to cover. Make sure your bowl is capable to hold boiling water. I mean, like, it won't shatter. This one won't. It's fine. So we're going to let this sit for about 10 minutes. And while this sits, we are going to start making the whiskey Gastrique, basically, that we're going to put the figs and the walnuts in. I'm going to combine the ingredients in the pan, and then we'll get it simmering first. But when we're ready to add things to it, we'll go ahead and meet you over there. Let me get the pan. So I've got a relatively shallow pan. We're going to be making this we're going to be thickening these ingredients. I keep forgetting things. So we're going to combine some, they look a lot alike, some apple cider vinegar, some bourbon. This is not quite all of the bourbon in the recipe, but it was very easy to tell how much to use. And then there's some honey. And let's just make sure, okay. We are going to get this simmering on the stove for about 5 minutes. And at that point, we are going to add our figs to this, and it's going to simmer for a little while. But we'll see you when we're ready to add the figs. I'm going to get this simmering, and then we're going to prepare the Camembert. And also we have some walnuts, either whole or coarsely chopped. We had some sort of coarsely chopped ones. And we toasted these just in a dry pan on the stove until they smelled toasty. So those are all ready. They go in at the very end. So I'm gonna get this simmering, and then I'll be back to prepare our Camembert. So while our Gastrique gets started, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the Camembert. You're going to use this sort of wooden, I think ours is probably cardboard, but we're gonna try it. His is obviously probably great quality, better quality than ours. So you remove it from its wrapper, and you put it back into the round, and that'll sort of keep it from oozing out. And he says that if you feel like it's not going to stand up to the heat, you can wrap it in twine just to keep it together. Wrap the wooden thing in twine. You can also put it directly in a small baking dish if you're really afraid to put this, whatever yours is in the oven. It didn't come in wood, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen Camembert not in something like this. So you want to put it in a small baking dish that's not much bigger than it. That'll kind of keep it together. So we've done that, and now I think we have to poke some holes in it. Take a paring knife and poke 6 or 7 deep holes in it. Okay. All right, that's good. And then we have the rest of the bourbon that we're just going to spoon over top. I didn't measure that out because it didn't go in with the rest. So we're going to just, hopefully that will stay on top and maybe go into those holes. I think we're gonna be okay. I'm gonna not move this until we're ready to put it in the oven. My oven is preheated at 350 degrees, but we have to get the Gastrique ready before we are ready to put this in the oven. So we'll meet you back at the stove. Now our figs have been plumping here for about 10 minutes approximately. And this has been simmering for about 5 at this point. And what I'm gonna do is just drain my figs. I'm just gonna drain them into this pan that I used for toasting the walnuts because it was already dirty, so why not? And so you wanna drain these pretty well. And then we're gonna put these into the Gastrique. And we're gonna cook this for another 6 to 8 minutes. Until it kind of is the consistency of warm maple syrup. So we still have to cook this for a little while, and so while we're doing this, I'm heating up some baguette to serve this with, to put this on. We're probably going to toast it, slice it and toast it to have a nice sturdy base for our creamy, melty cheese. He says you can also serve it with crackers, which we may do as well, but we'll try it out. I just got some take and bake baguette that, like the grocery store near me doesn't have great baguette, and it's, it's hard for me to find one around here close to home. Some of the other grocery stores have great ones, so find one that you like. Toasting it will make it that much better, honestly. So we're gonna let this go for another 6 to 8 minutes until he says the bubbles start to widen, and that's when it starts to get thicker. You notice, if you've ever made fudge, the bubbles start getting bigger as it gets thicker, as the temperature goes up. So that's kind of what we're going for, the beginning stages of that. So I'm gonna not touch it too much, and I'm gonna clean up a little bit while this simmers for another 6 to 8 minutes. And we'll be back and show you what it looks like then. Okay, I think it's done. Warm maple syrup is still pretty runny, and this is pretty runny. So I'm hoping that I'm not taking this off too early, but if so, I really can put it back on. But for now, what we're gonna do is turn off the heat. Oh, and you could see that the bubbles were starting to get bigger. So that's what I talked about before. Turn off the heat, add in the walnuts, and I'm just gonna stir that in, and we should probably take it off the heat, but since I'm not 100% sure that we're there yet, I'm gonna leave it on the heat. And when it cools down a little bit, it should be the consistency of honey, I believe. So we'll check it then. But then I'm going to take my bread out of the oven and I'm going to put the prepared Camembert in the oven for 12 to 15 minutes. And he says that you really need to think about the texture of the cheese rather than the time that it's in the oven, because you want it to be basically warm and melty and not still cold and hard. So we'll try it for 12 to 15 minutes and we'll show you what it looks like at that point and whether we're done or not, and let you know how it looks, how long it takes for us. So I'm gonna do that right now and we'll be back when we take it out of the oven. So I think I set my timer for about 12 minutes, and I think my Camembert is slightly smaller than he calls for, but what you're going for is soft, supple, and warm, and you can kind of see it looks sort of liquidy underneath there, so that is exactly what I'm looking for. And now I'm going to plate this up. I'm gonna take it off of here. Oh, that's great. Okay, I need a spatula. We'll see. There we go. Just need to get up underneath it. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna plate it up by basically just putting, scraping all of this on top. You can see that it got sort of much thicker. It should be about the consistency of honey, and it is. So I'm just going to scrape all of this on top of here and let it sort of fall down to the sides. And when we make up our toasts, we will make sure we get a little bit of everything on our cracker, on our toasts, whatever. There we go. Okay, and that is the recipe. And the Gastrique is sort of a sweet and sour, very sweet from the honey, sour from the apple cider vinegar. But there you have it. And we'll just serve it with probably a cheese knife or a butter knife, maybe a spoon. We'll see what works best and make sure we get everything on our toasts. And we'll show you what it looks like and let you know what we think of it in just a minute. All right, so the kids are gonna be trying baked Camembert with walnuts, figs, and whiskey Gastrique. Not a lot of alcohol in it, I don't think. Anyway, so they're gonna be trying it. I don't think they'll like it, but they might. It's cheese and bread.
I will not.
And fruit. All right, take a bite, both of you.
No one told us there was alcohol.
Take a bite of this side, please. No, the side with the stuff. Take a bite. Take a bite.
No.
Take a bite.
It's so crunchy.
The bread is very toasty, which is good when you have the stuff on it, the cheese and everything that's very melty and a bit wet. All right, take a bite. No, okay, no electronics at all.
Fine.
No more. Their lives are so difficult. So difficult.
That's a lot of cheese. Look.
Yeah? Not a lot of cheese?
I got a lot of cheese.
Mm-hmm. What did you think?
Yuck.
Why yuck?
Because it is big, it is mushy, and alcoholic. This could kill me, you know. No.
I would not feed it to you if it would kill you. What did you think? Since you actually ate all of the bits on top. Sawyer just got cheese, honestly.
Where's my water?
What did you think?
It's hard to bite into.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the fruit and the sort of syrup on top?
Tasted like figs.
It did? Is that bad?
But I like the Camembert with the bread. Because the Camembert hanging off the side.
Uh-huh. there you have it. Not one for our kids. That's all right. We'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching.
I don't like fancy food.
We're going to be trying baked camembert. We, the kids, are going to be trying baked camembert with figs.
Hey! Sorry, just dog problems. Sorry, just dog problems. Please edit this out, Daddy.
Sawyer did. I threw away my trash.
Phone.
That's fine.
Also, one
Daddy
more thing.
can edit it out.
Also, one more thing. If you don't edit it out, Daddy, please leave the.
Take it to the trash can. Go ahead. I'll just start it over. Okay?